talk about why men cheat. Going to dive deep into it, give you the man's perspective on exactly why men cheat. There's been so much going on just around the net, and we know so many people, specifically the relationship, I believe it's with Christy and Desmond. That's really big on the internet now. It's like, okay, whose fault is it? She's the most perfect person in the world. Why is he cheating on her? That's what so many people are asking. So we're going to dive into that. I'll give you the man's perspective. And for those of you who are just joining, I'm Coach B, of course, former lifelong bachelor, married my beautiful wife, Coach Tosh, who's relaxing today. She's just sitting back, just enjoying her day. I wanted to jump on and touch this topic with all of you today. So make sure you get your questions ready. Anything you have, if you've been in a relationship where maybe you've been cheated on or something that's affected you or those around you, get your questions ready so you can get the man's perspective on exactly why men cheat. So important, so much good information. Have all our cash flow queens and our Feminine Energy Academy ladies on. Shout out Kentura and all those that are joining on this live. Excited to jump in. So first, even before I dive into exactly why men cheat, and we don't know about the allegations of their relationship, if he cheated, who knows? That's not important in this topic. What we want to go into on exactly the mindset behind why men cheat. So even before that, the first thing I want to get out the way, I want to address is just what cheating is, what cheating looks like to men. So for most men, and this is men I coach, men I talk to, for most men, cheating doesn't occur unless they're married. So if you're in a situationship, if you're dating someone, you've been boyfriend, girlfriend for 6 years, you know each other's family, whatever the case. Can you all hear me? Can you all hear me? Said not heard. I want to make sure you all can hear me loud and clear. Just give me a thumbs up if you can hear me. Adora support. Can you hear me clearly? So I can dive in so I don't have to backtrack at all when sharing information. Let me know. Thumbs up. Give me a yes. Let me know if you can hear me. Okay, great. So first off, cheating for most men only occurs when you're in a marriage relationship. So if your boyfriend, girlfriend, long-term situationship, if that's your baby daddy, whatever the case is, men look at it as someone they're talking to, maybe they're interested in, maybe they're getting to know, maybe you're a placeholder. You have a title, but wife isn't that title. So outside of being a wife, most men don't consider it cheating. Now they understand that feelings are involved. You may have a connection. You may have a promise ring. He may have bought you a charm or a bracelet, something to let you know that one day he's going to marry you. One day he's going to commit to you. But at this point, he hasn't made that decision because he's figuring things out. He doesn't want to get tied down. Whatever he says to you, until he actually asks you to marry him and goes through with it, then most men don't even look at that as cheating. Now, it varies because if you're in engagement, things like that, then of course you've taken that next step. But most men don't look at it as cheating unless they are married. Secondly, whenever any situation like that happens, it's always the accountability of the person cheating, in my view. So if it's the guy cheating, it's things you can do, which I'm going to go into. It's things you can do to make sure that you're doing your part, but it's always that person who makes that decision to cheat. It's always your responsibility. You're the one that's accountable no matter what's going on around you, no matter what the other person did or didn't do. It's important that you within yourself have made a decision that you're going to be faithful to this person that you married, things like that. So when it comes down to the relationship that everyone's talking about with Christy and Desmond, as far as the allegations around him cheating, we don't, like I said, we don't know what happened, who did what, but I'm going to help you ladies understand exactly how the man thinks in relationships. And I'm looking at your questions. Trust me, I'm going to get to all your questions. That won't be an issue. We're going to make sure we answer as many questions as we can. The first reason behind why men cheat, and I'm so big on self-accountability, the first reason is, in most cases, it's a lot of healing that needs to be done that hasn't been done. So men enter relationships off of, okay, all the information they've learned growing up. whatever their uncle told them, the guys in the neighborhood told them about women, about relationships, what they've seen. So they go into it with a mentality of, okay, maybe they always have a back door ready just in case it doesn't work out. So you have to be careful and make sure that you're healed, because the only way usually that you attract those type of guys is if you aren't healed in those areas. So you attract the guys that are nice looking, guys that want to buy you stuff, but are these guys healed? Are these guys showing consistency in their life as far as relationships with those around them, on the job? How are they living their life before you commit to them? Because if there's healing in certain areas that need to be done, it's going to come out. Now, no one's perfect, but it's healing in the area of relationships and having a mentality, first off, that they're led by God in all they do. Not that they attend church. We have millions of churchgoers in the world, millions of people that can quote scripture, but what is the fruit of their life? Does the fruit show that they have someone outside of their self, an entity, that God is the head of their life? And if God plays a role in their life, they call on him when they need something. He's going before me. He's a friend, but he's not in a role of being their leader, someone they're accountable to. Then that's the first part that we want to stop at right there. Because if it's all about them, if it's all about hard work, making stuff happen, it's all them, you just got to keep grinding, you got to make it happen on your own, then those are people that don't have, necessarily in most cases, that don't have God as their head. So they're going to do whatever it takes in the moment. A lot of times make decisions based on how they feel, based on just what they know, instead of based on what the word says. So you can't be their leader. You can't be the one that pulled them in. Like, okay, start coming to my church. I got this group of men. They have this men's fellowship. I want you to join it. Coach B, he's doing some coaching in the Feminine Energy Academy. You need to connect with Coach B. He's going to help you. No, you don't want to go that route. You want a man that's already living his life in a certain way, already has God as his head. If he doesn't, then you're opening yourself up to potentially someone who's going to make a decision during that tough time that may not line up with scripture, may not line up with what God would desire for them to do. Someone who may not even look at vows as being something that they have to abide by, that it's optional. And we see it so often where it's like, okay, I'll make my own vows up. And the vows have nothing to do with scripture. The vows have nothing to do with the word. The vows is all about how they feel and what they want. That's the first sign when you're marrying a person that you're looking at to see potentially, because we know it's all potentially. Nothing's guaranteed as far as this person will never do that, this person will never do that. And trust me, we don't want to look at people and put them on a pedestal. We know so many couples that are, living their lives good, that are good to look at, whatever you want to call them, power couples, couple goals, all of that. All of that's great. But you don't want to put these people on a pedestal, and that's including every couple that's online, every couple that you see, that you know. We're not putting couples on a pedestal. The only thing on a pedestal is God. And as long as we keep that on a pedestal, then we're going in the right direction. But when we put couples and people and, oh, I like the way he smiled at her, listen, that's 10 seconds. That's real short. That's a picture. Anyone can smile in a picture, but you want to make sure that you're following the way God desires for you to live your life and your relationship, because every relationship is different. And what people had to go through to get to the point where they're in a healthy relationship is something that was special for them. So you want to make sure you go through and do the things that you need to prepare yourself, so you put yourself in a position where you're more likely than not to attract a healthy masculine energy man who loves God, who follows God, who trusts God, and who has God as his head. And he looks at you as a gift from God, not just as you as someone who's nice looking, you're someone to put on his shoulder, you're just someone that I enjoy spending time with. That's not enough. So you want to make sure you go about things the right way. So I got so much to say about this, because a lot of times people start looking at the wrong things and, okay, she's too masculine. That's why, all of that is definitely 100%. But who you are in the position when you attract that person, now you're attracting them where they are. So if you're in your masculine as a woman and you're attracting a man and, he's always smiling, but he doesn't have a backbone, you're already going down the path of a man who's going to be frustrated, a man who's not in his masculine, so a man who's taking a back seat. It's not about you being in front or you being the one, okay, she's the face on social media. He didn't like that. No, that's not the case. Men don't care. Most healthy masculine energy men don't care about getting attention. So getting attention for a man isn't what drives us, especially a healthy masculine energy man. We want to make sure you feel good, you look good. Women love, attention, love getting complimented, and that's great. That's not a negative thing at all. So that part of it isn't. There's nothing wrong with that. Even my wife, she loves to dress, she loves to, spend money, do things like that. That doesn't matter to me. I don't care about that. My thing is to make sure that she's healthy, that I'm protecting her, I'm providing, and on her end, this is the key. On her end, it's not just happy wife, happy life. A lot of times people get caught up in that happy wife, happy life. No, that's how things end the wrong way. You have to understand your role as a woman and how the things that you can do to make sure you keep the polarity in the relationship. And a lot of it is really making sure that he feels needed, making sure that the man understands that he's needed in the relationship, he's needed in the household, he brings value. If men don't bring value to a relationship or even feel like they don't bring value, and you're reinforcing that, you're taking care of everything, you're doing everything, he's sitting around. I don't care if he has 1 million, 2 million, 10 million, 100 million in the bank. He's not satisfied within himself because we're just born and made to want to provide, to do, to make sure that there's a need for us. And I talk about it so often, even coaching, playing sports forever. If we're playing a game against a team and the team doesn't have any resistance, it's just we're beating them, it's not worth our time. It's a waste of time if we're just doing stuff and it's no resistance. We don't feel valued in that moment. We want to make sure that we're valued. So understanding how to show the man that he's valued, complimenting the things that he does, not necessarily complimenting him, good morning, handsome, things like that. My wife tells me that, and I appreciate it. Definitely continue, babe. Continue telling me that. I don't know why I have a running nose, but continue telling me that, babe. But it's the other things. It's when we fix something around the house. It's when we make sure she has everything that she needs. It's when we do stuff for the kids. It's when we fix a problem, we get excited. And when you're pumping us up, that's what we enjoy. So understanding the communication side, understanding how to show him that he's bringing value to the relationship is what keeps the polarity. So you can be the front person, you can be the one that dresses nice, that everyone just adores. And I know this is with us as well. When we're out, and it can be a child, it can be an older person, only older men. Like older men, they can compliment my wife. Anybody else, I give them a side eye if they compliment her with me present. No, compliment me and I'll compliment her. But don't compliment her directly. But when we're out, when we're out and women compliment her, children, maybe teenage girls, talk about how beautiful she is, I'm great with that. You don't have to tell me I look good. I don't care what you think about me. I don't care if you think I look good, if you think I don't look good. That doesn't matter. But when we're out, women compliment her, and thank you. I'm thanking them because I made a good decision. So that helps to pump me up. But men don't need attention to feel wanted. Men don't need compliments about how they look, about how we're dressed to feel like we're one. We need communication that's respectful. Even if you're making 5 times more than him. And in a situation with them, with Christy and Desmond, everyone talks about how she makes all the money. I don't know what their financial situation is. I don't know their books. so it doesn't matter. But that doesn't matter. It's how you're respecting him, even allowing him to lead no matter what. And we want to be careful. We want to be careful because a lot of stuff can, we'll do for laughs, we'll do because it's cool, we'll get some clicks, we'll get some likes. Nothing wrong with having a relationship online. Nothing at all. Our relationships online, we share some things online. We share when we go out. We share things that we do. We work together. But in those moments, it comes down to, are you respecting him? Are you over talking him? Are you doing things, just anything to get a laugh? Or is it you're doing things within the confines of still respecting him and allowing him to be the leader, allowing him to be presented as the man? When you start going across those boundaries, that's when things start happening. And men don't just start cheating. It's not like, okay, they slipped into cheating. Oh, I don't know. I was walking down the street and then I slipped and fell and I fell into it. I don't know how it happened. I apologize. No, that, you don't slip and fall into cheating or into infidelity or anything like that. It's a process and it happens over time with men. And it all comes down to them not feeling like they're needed in a relationship, a breakdown in communication. And most men aren't going to fight you to treat them right. They're not going to make you talk to them the right way. They may bring it up, they may show their displeasure, but it's important that you continue to communicate and continue to get understanding from each other. Like, how does that make you feel when this happened? What happened, when we went out and I did this? How did that make you feel? Or I apologize. I know I came across wrong. That's not how I meant. These are things that have to happen ongoing in relationships. It's not just, okay, when things get bad, when we're arguing, when now I'm going to apologize, I'm going to let you know I'm sorry. It doesn't even have to get to that point. Because even Coach Tosh and I, we have disagreements, but it never gets to a point of arguing because we handle the disagreements when they happen. It might not be in the moment. We may need 5 minutes apart, but we handle the disagreements quickly. And then we talk about what we need to do differently. Okay, I saw that wrong. Okay, that's not what I meant. Or she's saying that's not what she meant. And we're able to move on because we're looking at the bigger picture, because we enjoy being around each other. We love each other. And that's something that's small that we won't allow to trip us up, or we won't allow it to pile up and stack up. Okay, you didn't address this week. Next week, something else happened and hasn't been addressed. Now, 10 things have happened. They haven't been addressed. And now he's starting to pull away and you don't know why. It's because you're not giving maintenance to the relationship. You just, you're calling the plumber, you're calling the therapist when things get bad, and right before, the pipe bursts. Now you need someone to come out. Now you have to spend all this money to fix it instead of just maintaining it. Just like a car, instead of getting an oil change, now you wait till the engine's about to seize up. Now you have to spend $3,500 to get the engine fixed, when all it took was just the maintenance on the engine by continuing to change the oil. Or when you heard something, even with our vehicle, I heard something and, we have a warranty. So for me, for me, as soon as I heard something, okay, let me take it in. I don't even know if it's something going on, but you're about to fix this for free because we paid to make sure that we're able to maintain the vehicle, so the vehicle, something doesn't break on the vehicle. Then we're going to pay much more. So I took it in, however long, and this is what you have to take note of, however long they need to keep it, however long you need to go through it to fix it, not just put a patch on it. We all grew up with our bikes, and instead of getting a new tire, we just put a patch on it and hope that we can get another couple of months out of that tire, because instead of spending $5, we'll spend, $1 on a patch instead of buying a new tire. But for us, especially when we're talking about relationships, as we get into adulthood, when we're talking about marriage, it's not about the patchwork. It's not about just putting something over it just so it doesn't leak or have a slow leak. No. We have to do what it takes to fix it so we can move on with clarity, so we can move on and our conscience is clear. We're not thinking about something that hasn't been taken care of, something that we just push to the side because I don't feel like going there today, or I don't feel like those emotions popping up. No, we have to be willing to deal with these emotions. These are things that help you avoid situations where now the person's cheating on you because we just we just didn't address it. We just made a decision. It's too much right now. I don't feel like going through that. I got a vacation next week. I got to go to work tomorrow. We'll deal with it when I get back. Whatever excuse we come up with, delaying it is part of why, in the long run, things come out and relationships end in cheating where men end up cheating. And again, it's never anyone else's fault, but these are signs that you want to look at because these things are avoidable. These things are avoidable if you have people that are willing and able. But a lot of times we just haven't learned. We just haven't gotten the right information. We don't have the tools a lot of times to make decisions or to see things. That's why the ladies in the FEA and the Feminine Energy Academy, again, right now we have a free 7-day trial, but the ladies in the Feminine Energy Academy, they come in with a lot of the same challenges. The difference is they're able to recognize it, they're able to listen to their audios, they're able to do the work, they're able to get the tools needed. So now, when these same situations come up, because so many of you ladies have been in relationships, and it's like every time it gets to this point, every time he's ready to move in, every time we're about to get engaged, every time we're about to go exclusive, this happens. And the same thing continues to happen. And it's going to continue to happen over time until you deal with it head on. And that's why you have to get those tools so you can understand that no matter how smart you are, how beautiful you are, men don't care about how beautiful you are when it comes down to men choosing to move on or men that cheat. I mean, we've seen some of the most beautiful women. So many people talk about how beautiful the Christie lady is, and we've seen so many actresses. Like, beauty is not going to stop you from getting cheated on if you don't take the right steps. Men look at it like they can just go out and attract another beautiful woman, or they can go out and find another beautiful woman. Men that have beautiful women don't have a problem getting another beautiful woman. So it comes down to, how is your relationship being run? Is it just something that it's all about, getting likes, all about smiling, all about taking that picture? I love that picture that you and Coach Tosh took when y'all was at the Caesars. I want to, I can't wait till I find my man who's going to take a picture like that and look at me like Coach B looks at Tosh. And I love Tosh. And, that's my wife, and we're going to be together forever. But you don't want to emulate that. You don't want to just look at that picture and say, okay, I want someone just like that. No, you want someone who's made perfectly for you. That's the point. And a lot of times we're looking at, how does he look? Okay, does he have a smile? Is he bald headed? Does he have this type of car? What type of house does he have? He's for me. No, when you're looking for a man as a woman, you want to look for a man as a provider, a protector, someone who's there for you, someone who has eyes for you. And you'll see that in a dating phase. If you're out with a guy, you're going to a restaurant and he's always looking behind him, his eyes are always wandering, he's not all the way on you, he's there with you, but he's everywhere else. Things like that you want to look at, because it's small things that you can see to help position yourself so you're able to attract that man that has eyes for you. And eyes for you doesn't mean that it's not like only the type of guys that look a certain way, but a lot of times it's guys that aren't trying to be in the spotlight, guys that don't need attention, guys that are happy within themselves, guys that may be making money doing great things, but they're just at home chilling. They're just wearing regular clothes. They're just, t-shirt and jogging pants 90% of the time. So don't just look for these physical traits. And we talk so much about this in the Feminine Energy Academy. I'm not going to go too deep into it because I can go in. Let me make sure I'm checking out your questions. Make sure we get to everything, all the questions. I have a couple more points, but I want to look at your questions first, see if I can answer a question. So beautifully said, how do you avoid men with wandering eyes or those unhealed men? Well, first, to avoid those men with wandering eyes and unhealed men is, first you have to be healed. You have to be healed and whole, because you're going to attract the type of guy that you are as a woman. You're going to attract the mirror image of who you are. So if you're not someone who has a wandering eye, if you're someone who's healed, someone who's done the work, someone who's not easily triggered, someone who understands how to communicate, someone who understands what the man needs and not only worried about what they need. Okay, he got to do this for me, this, and this. If he's not doing this for me, then I'm not going to be with him. Men will do above and beyond. Doing stuff for women doesn't, I mean, that comes normal to a healthy masculine energy man. But men are not going to do something for a woman who they don't feel is in it for them. So understanding what he needs as well is so important. But attracting a healed man is just about you being healed, just about you being whole, about you having the right perspective on what am I looking for in a husband, not a man, not just somebody to hang out with, okay? Because not somebody to date long term, not someone who I can go on a date with and we can get all dressed up. We can be twins. We can wear that outfit. You got on we wearing all black together. We're going to take that picture. You got on your head. I got on my sunglasses. No, making sure you attract a healed man. And what does a healed man look like? Understanding those things first. So it's so many healed men, so many men that are doing things necessary to prepare themselves for their spouse. But a lot of times they're easy to walk past because they're not flashy. They're not men that are looking for attention. They're not men that's going to necessarily tell you everything you want to hear on the first date. And that's a big thing too. A lot of times, men that have so much experience in dating, men that, are slick, that know what to say, they've been out there. They got game because they've been in the game for a while. So, it's nothing you can say to throw them off. But sometimes men that maybe don't date as much, men that are focused on work, focused on their life, maybe they're a little awkward at times. Maybe they don't know the right thing to say. Maybe they slip up and say something wrong and you're looking like, oh, I don't know why you said that. I'm done with him. No, you have to understand those in a lot of cases could be the healed men that you're looking to attract. So it's not just about, okay, that first impression. Did he dress right? Women, or how do his shoes look? It's got some on his shoes. I don't want him. Things like that. You want to look at the bigger picture because a lot of healed men in some situations aren't the smoothest men in the world, aren't the ones that understand, the right thing to say in the right moment, but they're all for you. They're focused on you. You're their queen. You're the one that they've been looking for, and they're willing to do whatever it takes to keep you. They're willing to spoil you, whatever it is. But you have to understand what he looks like. Now, men with wandering eyes, that's an easy one. That's just spending time with them. When you're out, everything you won't see, but when you're out and sometimes they just lose focus. You're talking to them and they space out. They're looking behind you. They're getting up all the time and, okay, I'll be right back. I have to do something. I have to go to the bathroom every 10 minutes or something like that. Or, you're walking in front of them instead of walking on the side of them. If you're walking in front of them often, it's probably because they want to check some things out. So just watch their behavior, watch how comfortable they are, watch how much attention they give you. Because in most cases, when men are super into you, it's like it's you and him. Nobody else matters. Of course, he's looking around and make sure it's safe, but it's about you and him. It's not him staring or making comments. Even those comments, you want to be careful with that as well. Just being comfortable with men making comments about women. She look like this. Okay, look at that. And just joking. No, all of that has meaning behind it. People will say stuff in a joking way, but deep down, that was their excuse to look. So you have to watch those things and not give men the benefit of the doubt because he's a nice guy. Don't give him the benefit of the doubt because you just met. No. His focus and attention should be on you. And when you start seeing signs that they're not, then you want to put up those binoculars, those radars, and take note because that may be a pattern of behavior that continues on down the line. Okay, why is it that through that man think that cheating is only considered if they're married? That's a good question, great question. Well, Most men that I coach, that I've talked to, if they're not committed in a marriage relationship or minimum in an engagement relationship, then they're still figuring things out. They're still on the market. And you can live with these guys, but it's no commitment. It's just, okay, we've made a decision and we decided that we like each other. Now we're figuring things out. So in the figuring things out process, men won't commit to you. They'll introduce you. They may say, "This is my girl," this good people, this whatever your name is. They'll call you by name, but they want to make sure they leave their options open in case something better comes in their eyes. So girlfriend, boyfriend means nothing to most men. It's not recognized by the law. It's not recognized by God. So thinking you're safe and secure in a boyfriend-girlfriend relationship, that's for 13, 14-year-olds. That's for teenagers, girlfriend, boyfriends. And we know those don't last even during the teenage years. So if he doesn't want to exclusively date you, which is in our eyes the first step, exclusively date you, then it's still not official. We still tell you ladies rotationally date, and that means date multiple men but don't have sex with them, because men have rosters even when they're dating. So continue to rotationally date until he asks you to be exclusive, leading to marriage, not just exclusive. If he says he wants to be exclusive with you, what's the point behind it? Where's exclusive taking us? Is there a time frame as far as when we want to take it to the next level? If he says he wants to be exclusive, he sees himself marrying you in the next 3 to 6 months, then that's something you can consider, have a conversation, see exactly what that looks like on both ends. See if that means exclusive, like we're not dating anyone else. You want to get clarity with men. You don't want to assume. You don't want him to tell you something and, oh, this is what he meant. No. If he's saying he wants to be exclusive with you to potentially date for marriage, you have to have timelines. It has to be clarity. You have to have an understanding of exactly what that looks like. So men know that they have to say certain things just so they can get you to themselves, because men don't want you dating anyone else. I don't care if you're just on their roster. You can be one of 8. You can be in an 8-man rotation. A man doesn't want a woman to have anyone on her team, in her rotation. He doesn't want you rotationally dating. Again, don't tell him you're rotationally dating. That's not something you have to share. But you have to understand, men don't look at it as a relationship. Men don't look at it as something that they're only speaking to you, unless that they're only dating you, unless it's super clear. I'm dating you for marriage. I'm not talking to anyone else. It's just you and I. I see us getting married in the next 3 to 6 months. And when that 3 to 6 months comes, it's important that you hold him accountable to that, because once that time frame passes, if he hasn't asked you to marry him, you have to be willing to walk away from the relationship, because what you're doing is you're training him to just give you timelines that he never has to follow through with. So he'll give you another timeline after that. And I'm sure some of you ladies have probably gone through this, where first he told you it's going to be 3 to 6 months. Then 3 to 6 months comes. Now he has to sell his house. His mother needs some money. He can't buy that ring yet. So he gave her $1,500. So in about a year, he'll be ready. That year comes, the venue that you were going to get married at is overbooked. He wants to do a destination wedding. The church isn't available. Now you look up, it's been 4 years. And because you didn't stand firm on that 3 to 6 months that he wanted to be exclusive with you to lead to marriage, now it's 4 years later, you're still exclusive. He's dating multiple women. So ladies, don't get caught up in that game where it's like, well, I just don't see myself being with anybody else. Well, you're going to see him with somebody else. So you have to have those boundaries in place. And a lot of times it's the tools and having the skill set to do it. A lot of ladies try to do it out of willpower. Okay, I'm just going this time. No, you need tools. You need information. You need to reprogram and re-regulate around relationships and understanding how they work. Because if you're at the point now where you're not married, maybe you're in your late 20s, you're in your 30s, you're in your 40s, you can even be in your 50s. Great job, great career, but you're not where you want to be at in relationship, it's time to do things differently because what you're doing isn't working. And we talk about it so many times, about how being crazy, you just continue to do the same thing over and over, getting the same results. That's insanity, but not doing anything differently. And not to say that anyone who's listening is crazy, but it's insanity to continue to do the same thing and hope to get a different result. So, especially going into this new year, it's important that you first recognize the way you've been doing things hasn't worked. And that can be in business, that can be in a relationship, that can be health wise. Now, what do I have to do? Most people, okay, if it's health related, you're going to go to a doctor. Say, okay, what do I need to do to switch up my health regimen so I can live healthier, so I can live better? If it's financially, you're going to look at, okay, what options do I have as far as jobs, starting a business? I need to do something different. This isn't working. So when it comes down to relationships, most people just say, I'm going to do it differently. I'm not going to have any coaches. I'm not going to have accountability. I'm just going to make a decision to do it differently. And it doesn't work 9 out of 10 times. So you want to make sure you connect with those that give you information, those that can walk you through the process, those that have been through the process, those that understand the different challenges that come. So you can be one of those 12 to 15 women from last year that were in the FEA, that got married, that got engaged. And these ladies came in as single moms. They came in have in situationships, long-term situationships, 2, 3, 4 year situationships. And the hardest part, like any addict, the hardest part is just admitting, okay, this is where I'm at. Okay, I'm on drugs. Okay, I need to get off drugs, admitting it, and then being willing to go through the process of when you first stop and when you get out that situationship, the hardest part, when you get off those drugs, the hardest part is, that first couple of days, maybe that first week when you just want it, you need it, your body needs it, you're craving it. It's the same in relationship, but you have to have someone who can walk with you through that process so we can let you know, like, you know what? I know it's challenging. Listen to this. Do this. This works. That's what we need to get out of these situationships. Let me get to another question before I keep going in. Thank you for the tips. Thank you. Thank you for this video, coach. Thank you. Interesting. Okay. Can you tell a guy you just met, you're dating right now, or will he look at you in a different or bad way? If you meet a guy and you tell him that you're dating, he gonna look at you like, oh, you from the street, you for the streets. Unfortunately, I'm not saying that that's the right way to look at it, but any connection to a guy and you're already dating, men automatically put you in a category. Not to say that he won't talk to you. He'll still talk to you. He may take you out on a date, but if you're dating other guys, he may not even look at you as a potential wife. He's looking at you as a good time potentially. He's looking at you as, oh, she has a lot going on. But any attachment to a guy, that's why I say don't tell the guys that you're rotationally dating. They're asking you, are you dating anyone? You can let them know, I'm only dating with purpose. I'm not just out here dating, So however you want to frame it. But don't let them know that, I went on a date yesterday with this guy. It was cool, but, I didn't really like him. I'm still out here testing the waters. The guy's thinking like, okay, did he hit? I mean, that's the first thing that the guy's thinking, like, forget the date, forget where you went, forget what he bought. Okay, how far did it go? That's what the guy is thinking in his mind. Then he's like, okay, well, I won't deal with her on that level, but maybe I can get with her. Maybe we can connect. Maybe we can hook up. So telling him that you're dating other guys is not the route to go as a woman. Don't ask, don't go into your dating history. I've been dating this guy. We dated for 6 months and you just met him. Of course, as you get to know the person, you want to know a little bit about where they are, their history, if they're, like you all say, if they're single, or if they're single, no connections, you want to know that. But when you're going out on a first date, second date, it's more about having fun, enjoying each other, not really trying to have a questionnaire. The 99 questions, let me just pull out the scroll like I'm talking to Jesus, like, the scriptural, I'm going down a list of each question I want to ask you. that date will go bad quickly. It'll turn into an interview, and he won't get the job, you won't get the job. So don't come in with a list of questions. Know enough about each other. If you meet online, if you meet in person, know enough about each other to see if you can potentially see yourself talking to this person, getting to know them. Go out on a date, have fun, but don't come in with these questions. Well, let's get straight to the point. You got your food there. Feel like he needs to pull out his computer. Like we're in a work meeting. He just left work. That's the thing that takes the polarity out of relationships for men, is when they feel like it's work. So you want to bring the fun to getting to know him. You're not talking about your other guys that you're dating, the guy that took you out last night, but it didn't go how you wanted it to go. No. Leave all that for someone else, because it goes bad, real bad. Let me see. What if a man has a type? Okay, that's a good question. What if a man has a type? All of his exes look the same, different from me, and he was cheating on me with his ex 10 out of 11 months. We were together and sexting the other ex. So what if a man has a type? I'll answer that question. Most men have types when it comes down to looks. Every man doesn't, but most men's type is a nice looking woman, whatever that looks like to him. Some men like smaller women, maybe some men like women that have a little weight. Most men like women that are in shape, women that look like they can create some babies. Even if she's 50 or 60, that's just what men like. Even if they know she's past the point of having babies, he doesn't want any more kids. Most men like women that are shapely, that are nice looking, that take care of themselves physically. So most men have a type. Now, facial, dark skin, light skin, black, white, Jews, Gentiles, whatever, men, you can't control that. What you have to look at is you're the right type of pretty, like my wife says, you're the right type of pretty for your husband. So if your pretty isn't good enough, oh well. You don't want to try to become it because he likes what he likes. You just are positioning yourself to be attracted by the man who just loves the way you look. He loves that little black spot on your face, or he loves the way your face is shaped, whatever it is. He loves the imperfections about you, not trying to become the type that the guy that you like wants. So, okay, I like him, but he likes this type. So let me go color my hair. Let me go get surgery. Let me go do this. Let me go do that. Let me go get a BBL. No, don't try to become the person, his type. Attract the guy who's attracted to you as you are. So you said all of his exes look the same? Okay. That's nothing wrong with that. I mean, if you're not his type, then you have to be okay with that. But don't stick around because you want to become his type, because he's the one. I love the way he spends money, so I want to be with him. Or I love the way he looked at me. Whatever it is. No. If you're not his type, then continue to position yourself for the guy that wants to be with you. Different from me, and he was cheating on me. So if he was cheating on you with his ex for 10 out of the 11 months, I don't care what type he likes. Of course, we all know my definition of cheating if you're married. But if he was really going around sleeping with other women while you're getting to know each other, and that's something you're not comfortable with, then you have to be willing to move on. If he's not prioritizing you, if he's not doing whatever he can to show you, because this is what men do. We want to show you, like I wanted to show my wife that I was about her. So for me, it wasn't an option to try to get to know other women. No. Even though we weren't officially together, I wanted to show her that I had control, self-control, that I was about her. So I wasn't talking to other women. So if he doesn't want to do what it takes to show you, then, and cheating 10 out of 11 months, then you have to be willing to move on. It's not really a conversation on, should I give him another chance? What happened? I don't know what to do. I'm telling you, you have to be willing to move on. A lot of times, ladies waste so much time and energy giving men a benefit of the doubt, waiting around for him to change. He didn't mean to do it. He slipped up and, he's good now. He talked to his pastor, or he talked to his friend, and now he's good to go. He no longer has her phone number, so he's ready to move forward with just me. No, you have to believe what you see. And when you see something and you believe it, you make a decision, And you have to be willing to move on. You have to detach and separate yourself from him and be willing to move on in life. Otherwise, you're going to find yourself continuing to be in situationships with these men that aren't really wanting to get to know you and take things to the next level. You're just a good time instead of them being with you for a long time. Yeah, so definitely be willing to make a decision. And again, a lot of times it's difficult to make a decision on your own because you're doing it with willpower. Like, I'm going to make better decisions. I'm going to be better in 2026. I'm leaving 2025 behind. I'm leaving all the toxicity. I'm leaving all the negativity behind. Then 2 days into it, you find yourself in those same situations because you haven't done anything besides, you had some energy that day, you had an emotional moment, but nothing practical was done. So you can be a different person in this new season. So you have to start doing things that are practical to make change in your life. Otherwise, you're going to attract another guy who's nice looking. He's everything you want. Maybe you're not his type. He's going to do similar things to you. And you're going to think, okay, well, guys are no good. There's no good guys out here. And the reality is you're just not the woman that you need to be. You haven't done the healing. You haven't done the things necessary to be the woman that's going to attract that type of guy that's going to be for you and only you. Man, hey, y'all bringing it out today. But why is there that double standard regarding rotational dating? He doesn't consider it cheating, but he does it. Listen, the thing is, you don't want to try to figure out the why. You just have to understand this is what it is because so often I just don't understand why men think like this or why men do that or why doesn't he see things this way. You can waste a lifetime trying to figure out why instead of understanding that this is how men think. How men think to women doesn't make sense. In a lot of cases, how women think to men doesn't make sense. But one thing to know, a man wants to make sure that the woman that he's going to provide for and protect for isn't taking, somebody else isn't doing that for him, for her right now. Because if somebody's doing that now, we're looking around like, you know, you just, what are we like, chop liver or something? Like we're getting used because it's a different expectation on what a man brings to a relationship. So if we're bringing that, if we're providing, protecting, if we're making sure you're good in every area, and then you have someone else doing that, now it's no need for us. We don't feel needed. So for a man, it's important that you let him know that he's needed. And you do that by being for him, by not being out here sleeping with all these other guys. Because if someone has access to your body, because that's where our mind goes, not that you're dating, it's that they have access to your body. And I talk about this often as well. They have your mind, which is even more important than your body. Because if they have your mind, they have access to you, you're going to always go back to them. So if they have your mind, for us as men, they have everything else. They have your body, they have your time, they have your energy. And if you're locked in with somebody like that, a man doesn't want to be a part of that. Whereas a man can go out, spend time with a woman, whatever the case, and she can never have him. A man will commit to you when you show him that you're someone who's for him. You know, you're someone who's in his corner. You're someone who's just his number one fan. He can fall in love with you. He doesn't fall in love with the act of sex. A man doesn't. Most men, I'll say that. Most men don't fall in love with the act. That's why he can sleep with you, then he can sleep with someone else, and you feel like he really loves you. He loves you. He stayed over the night, but he went over there the next day. Men compartmentalize, but when you show the man that you're for him, when you're doing the things on the communication side, the things that we talk about, then a man doesn't have a need to go somewhere else for it. But it's all about a man doesn't want another man to have you in the head because he knows once he has you in the head, he has you in the bed, he has you everywhere. So a man doesn't put himself in that situation. For men, they compartmentalize. Different things get a man hooked. And sex isn't that thing. So women, I don't want you going out. Okay, he just wants to test it out. He wants to see how it goes. He's going to test it out. Then he's going to continue testing. He's going to be a taste tester. He's just going to be going around testing everybody. but he's not going to commit to anyone. So the emotional side of it, how women fall in love, are different, and men understand that. So men don't want to connect with a woman who's for the streets in the man's head. So we have to hide that we're dating other men. You don't have to hide that you're dating other men, but because when you're dating these other men, you're dating for marriage. You're not dating and sleeping with these guys. You're rotationally dating, getting to know them, going out on dates. You just don't have conversations with guys that who haven't committed to you. If a guy hasn't committed to you, if a guy went out on a date with you and he's asking you what's your social security number, are you going to tell him? He hasn't earned that right to know your social security number. So if you're going out on a date with a guy, you just met him, and he's asking you, okay, tell me your dating history. He hasn't earned that. The only thing he's earned is a date with you today. He'll figure that stuff out as you go along once he wants to commit to you. But as long as he stays in that, well, I'm dating you, I'm just getting to know you, want to see how things go, information will get kept to you keep that information. You keep that to yourself. He hasn't done enough to know if, to even for you to tell him what you're doing with your life, how your life is going, where you live, all of that. And so often what happens, women feel like they have to tell men, okay, I have to tell him this. I don't know how not to tell him this. Well, he knows how not to tell you certain things. Men aren't showing you their bank account on day one, are they? Because that's what's important to women, being able to be provided for. I need to see that. Okay, can I see your credit score day one? Now, eventually, before you get married, you want to see this stuff, but he's not showing you his credit score. He's not giving you the access code to his bank account. But you're telling him what's most important to him, your dating history. You're telling him who you're dating. You're telling him how often you go on dates. No, just let him know that you're only available for men that are, whatever. I'm only available to date for this purpose. You're not telling him that he has to be that person, but you're only available to date for this purpose. And anyone else that you're dating, I'm spending time, I'm doing things that I enjoy outside of being with you. I'm spending time with family. I'm working, I have hobbies, but you don't have to go over who you just went on a date with yesterday. If you feel like you do, jump in the Feminine Energy Academy so you can get that, so you can get healed from that, so you can understand how to date the right way instead of just giving all the tools and all the information out day one, day two, and now he's looking at you sideways because you told him that you're dating 3 men. No, he doesn't need to know that. He just needs to know that you're enjoying getting to know him. How long does it take to get over a ghoster? I'm trying my hardest to move on. Well, the biggest question is, did you have sex with him? Did you have sex with this ghoster who didn't commit to you? And I hate to be harsh, but this is the question you have to ask yourself. If you had sex with him, it's going to be challenging. It's not going to happen overnight. If you didn't have sex with him, if you just went out on a date with him, he ghosted you, then it's easier to move on from it. That's why we tell you ladies, you had sexting conversations, maybe he held your hand, maybe you had a long passionate kiss. I don't know what it was, but if you're having attachment issues, then you need to really listen to attachment style. Take the survey first, attachment style in the Feminine Energy Academy, understanding why you're feeling so attached. And a lot of it's connected with abandonment issues, and not for you necessarily, but okay, if I let him go, how's it going to feel? Is it going to be someone else? I just feel like he's the one. Last time someone left, they didn't come back. Whatever the case is. So if you're having a hard time moving on from someone, specifically if they've ghosted you, they're showing you right there that you're not important to them, important enough for them to stay in contact with you. Coach Tasha and I connected a couple years ago. Then when I wasn't doing what she wanted me to do as far as move the relationship forward, she decided to detach and move on. Before that, we were talking every day. I think it was one day we didn't talk. Then when I reached back out to her I think it was 6 to 8 months later, we've been talking every day since then. And that's been a couple years, between us getting engaged in 8 months, married the next 3 months. We haven't missed a day of talking. So if you're connecting with a ghoster, then just know it's not serious enough for him to feel like he needs to go all out for you. Plus, if you're connecting with the ghost, you have to say, okay, what type of energy am I giving out? Why do I attract ghosters, men that don't feel like they have to go all in for me? What type of conversations are you having with these men? Is it just regular conversations on the phone? Is it sexting? Are you just going too quick in the conversation? Are you asking too many questions? You get that first date, that second date, then he ghosts you. If that's something that's consistently happened, now you have to look at patterns. Like, what am I doing? What do I need to adjust? Because this doesn't feel good. And that's the reality. It doesn't feel good to get ghosted. It doesn't feel good when people, take you out, say all this good stuff, and then they just stop calling you. Then, you go out on a date with them. Maybe you sleep with them accidentally. And I'll put accidentally in quotes. Maybe you sleep with them accidentally, and then they just stop reaching out to you the way that they were at first. At first, I mean, they were good morning, beautiful, good night, beautiful. I'm thinking about you during the day. I just want to talk to you. Let me know if you're free. Then at a certain point, it's like they stop reaching out. It's like you feel like you have to reach out to them now. You checking in on them. Yeah, I'm just checking on you, seeing if you're okay. I don't want anything, but just let me know if you're okay. You don't have to talk to me right now. Now you find yourself chasing them. You get into your masculine because you don't want to lose this one because he's a good one. He's got a lot going on for himself. So you have to be careful and really look underneath and see exactly why you get ghosted. If it's a continual thing, if it's a one-off, maybe he just wasn't the right guy. But your attachment style, and any type of abandonment that you're dealing with, and it could come from childhood. It could come from, okay, in a lot of cases, and this isn't you success, but in a lot of cases, it's like their father wasn't there. The father said he's going to come get you this weekend, and then this weekend comes, something came up. So you still haven't dealt with that, but you want to move on and have a successful relationship. All right. That's why it's so important to deal with those things that allowed us to caused us to get in a position we are before we want to have a successful relationship, before we're able to have a successful marriage, before we're able to have a successful business. All these things are connected. Before we're able to have successful just health life, before we're able to get that ideal weight and just, don't have any issues health wise. It's dealing with those things that caused us to get in the position that we are. That's so important. What does it mean when a man starts calling anonymously through unknown numbers and emails? It means that y'all broke up and you probably told him that don't call you anymore. Now he's in a position where he's trying to get in contact with you. It's an emergency. It's probably not a good emergency. Now he wants you in a good way, bad way, indifferent way. It's not a healthy sign. Let me say that. Any man that's calling you anonymously through unknown numbers and emails is not healthy. So you don't want to play with that. You don't want to, okay, well, let me just see what he wants because he really trying. He's giving that effort. He's coming towards me, like Coach B and Coach Tosh said. His energy is coming at me. No, he's unhealthy at this moment. Healthy masculine energy man, healthy masculine energy man, if you make a decision that you no longer want to be with them, a healthy masculine energy man, they found a new place to live within 24 hours. Like they've moved on. They understand chasing someone that doesn't want to be with them is never healthy. It never turns out good. I'm not wasting my energy, my time. So if you're with someone and you want to move on, or if you're just upset, don't play around and just start saying stuff because men take it literally. A lot of times, healthy masculine energy men, they're not going to double back. They're not going to say, okay, well, let me just see. But an unhealthy man will double back. Unhealthy man, he'll call you. He'll do everything. And that's borderline stalking. So, consider different options when it comes down to how you deal with that. Because I want to make sure you're safe. Anonymous emails, all of that, that's not healthy. So don't play with that. Don't play in that energy. And make sure you do what you need to do to get your healing so you're not attracting these type of guys. Because when you're in your healthy place, you don't attract these type of guys. These guys don't even give the time of day because you have your boundaries in place. They understand that I can't play with this one. But like you said, if you're in a situationship, then you're playing in that energy, and you're just, you're more likely to attract any type of guy. So you don't want to play there. You said, yeah, okay, it was a situationship you cut off. Great, you cut it off. Now get the healing. Jump into the Feminine Energy Academy. Get the healing you need, and make sure you take the steps so you protect yourself from him, so you don't find, so he doesn't take things to the next level, and it just, things go haywire. But definitely great thing that you decided to cut off the situationship. And I'm sure it's more layers in it, as far as how the situationship went about, how much time you spent together, all those things we don't have the answers for. Only you know that. But you want to make sure you keep yourself safe when it comes down to someone doing all of that to get in contact with you. I have one more question I'm going to answer. I'm sorry, but there's still a double standard. He wants to be the only one who is on her mind, but he has no conscience because he's sharing himself with other women. Now, a healthy masculine energy man won't be necessarily sleeping with different women, but they'll still be talking to different women until they find a woman who's going to be their wife. And you should do the same as a woman. Rotationally date until the man steps up. So a healthy masculine energy man is not going to date one woman with his fingers crossed. No, he's going to date multiple women until he sees that woman, that whatever woman it is, has wife qualities. And if you have wife qualities, then he's going to want to cut off everyone else and be with you, a healthy masculine energy man. But if you don't have wife qualities, he'll keep you in the rotation. He'll keep talking to you, and maybe things go, to the next step, whatever the case. But that doesn't mean that he wants to be with you. No, he's rotationally dating to find his wife, and you're just a step in that process if you're not the wife. So you have to make quick decisions. When I say quick, I don't mean like first day, but you have to look for signs, know when, okay, this isn't going anywhere. I have my boundaries in place. I have my love list. I have my negotiables, non-negotiables. This isn't going anywhere. Let me move on so I can position myself for my husband. Forget what he's doing. Don't focus. If you're looking to position yourself for your husband, you're not focusing on things that don't line up with that. So no matter if it's a double standard, what he's doing, that doesn't matter. You can't get caught up in that. Like, okay, so I just don't like that. It's a double standard. Oh, well, it doesn't line up with what you want, so move on from it so you can position yourself for the man that wants to be with you, wants to make you his wife. So many good questions. Yeah, so many good questions. Rotational dating, yes. Rotational dating is where it's at, ladies. So if you want to know more about rotational dating, want to know more about how to get over exes who are potentially stalking you, just want to be able to heal some love blocks, some abandonment wounds, whatever the case, jump into the Feminine Energy Academy right now. We have a free 7-day trial. Definitely jump in. Let us know why you came there so we can help you out. Definitely appreciate all the questions. Any questions I didn't answer, just jump in the FEA, send me the questions. You can put them on a community board. I'll get to those questions, but definitely appreciate everyone that jumped on. Enjoy your day, and definitely enjoyed all of you all today. So have a good day.